Okay. Bet. Yep, I pinned it.
Okay.
So we good to go.
All right, we launching.
All right, let's get to it. Hello and welcome to another week of the Lost Confederacy channel. This is week 6 of the 13-week fiscal program of recovery for American prisoners of war. Today you have myself, Chief Biko, as well as Chief Alligator. And here's always, we focus more so in that first on that first letter in the acronym APOW, which is American. Today we'll have Chief Alligator start us off with the inventor.
Okay, today's inventor, week 6, is going to be A.B. Blackburn. We've done him a couple of times. I'm going to do him today. And today we are going to do the cash carrying device. Let me see if it'll let me share my screen. Okay, while that's pulling up, let's do this. Okay. And while we're waiting on this to upload, Mr. A.B. Blackburn, we've done him 2 times previous. Today's patent number is going to be US 391577. And the federal patent date is October 23rd, 1888. And Mr. Blackbird is from Springfield, Ohio. And I'm going to make this image bigger. Can you see this, Chief Biko?
Yep.
All right, so this cash carrying device, basically this device right here is where you would hook the bag to. So when everybody's talking about chasing the bag, back in 1800s, A.B. Blackburn created a device where you could put your cash in it, which it was money because it was backed by silver and gold. And then on this line, your money would go from point A to point B across a line. And you can see this device a little bit more up close on the bottom image. So you would hook your cash bag here. And depending on the length of this line, it would go from one point to the other. I'm gonna open up the second image where you can see his mechanical engineering prowess. You can see he's got springs here. He's got pulleys that's going to ride on this rail. Your bag will be attached here. You see a more complete image of it here in figure 3. And this is the cash carrying device. So this device could be set up in hotels, saloons, any place where money needs to be sent from one side of the room to the other side of the room in a timely manner and above the heads of people so they can't grab it. That's what this device, that's what the purpose of this device was for. And again, it's A.B. Blackburn cash carrier, patent number US 391577. The date of this invention was October 23rd, 1888. And Mr. Blackburn is from Springfield, Ohio. And the family nor the group receives any percentage of income from this invention, like the rest of our inventions that we've created that the world benefits off of. And that is today's American inventor.
Great selection for today. Great selection. Next, I will go ahead and read off the Dr. Carter G. Woodson quote for this week.
And can you let everybody know why we do a Dr. Carter G. Woodson quote, since it is American History Month, aka
Sure.
Black History Month?
Most definitely, most definitely. So pretty much what you just stated. He is the creator of the Black History Month. I believe it started with Black History Week, and then turned into a month. yes, we definitely need to honor him because he's pretty much one of the founding fathers to actually talk about our history, especially in regards to this land. So we always want to salute and honor the ancestor in regards to that. And the one that I want to select this week, I'm gonna go with actual quote number 4. So quote number 4 reads that the Negro could abandon the idea of leadership and instead stimulate a larger number of the race to take up definite tasks and sacrifice their time and energy in doing so, or in doing these efficiently, the race might accomplish something. The race needs workers, not leaders. Such workers will solve the problems which race leaders talk about and raise money to enable them to talk more and more about it. I think this is very key, especially in regards to the superimposed leaders that are always put in front of us. We see that they usually talk about steps, but again, kind of going back to last week, what's actual actions are being, implemented. A lot of these leaders are those pawns that protect that back row, as Chief Alligator stated last week, which will be that Congressional Black Caucus, because those are supposed to be our representatives who are making laws to protect as well as provide resources for our group. So again, if we just stop focusing, I would say, on these superimposed leaders and actually do the work as a collective, and then in doing so, we're holding these actual people who are supposed to be in these rooms for us, which would be that Congressional Black Caucus, feet to the fire to get things moving. That'll be much more beneficial for us in the long run. Next, I'm gonna read the legal definitions. Number 1, American is an indigenous to America. Number 2, descendants, one who follows in the bloodline of an ancestor, either lineally or collaterally. Number 3, slavery, a situation in which one person has absolute power over the life, fortune, and liberty of another. Number 4, prisoner of war, a person, usually a soldier, who is captured by or surrenders to the enemy in wartime. Number 5, school, any institution at which instruction is given in a particular discipline. Number 6, education, an enlightening experience. Number 7, recovery, a return to a normal state of health, mind, or strength, the action or process of regaining possession of something stolen or lost. And last but not least, the maroon historical points. Number 1 was a person escaping slavery, seeking freedom, or breaking the law. Number 2, providing unity and a strong defense came first. Number 3, maroon leaders were first and foremost military figures. Number 4, maroons established guerrilla warfare, planting sharp sticks in thick grass. And number 5, maroons knew their European enemies' language, defenses, and plans. And those are our maroon historical points. All right, so without further ado, we're going to jump back into the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And just as a brief summary, just kind of, again, recap on what we've already pretty much discussed. We still have yet to see anything regarding the Negro, the colored person, Black, any of those reclassification terms that were used during this time. We have yet to see that within this document. So again, we have to continue to pose the question, why is it that we think that this document strictly pertained to us, when again, there's nothing specifying our group? Again, those Jim Crow laws specified the Negro, the colored, and that was it. But in these Civil Rights Acts, which are supposed to be basically to counter those Jim Crow laws, we have yet to see the word Negro or colored. So again, we have to continue to look for that and continue to see when are we actually placed within this government system, because we have yet to see that thus far. It's up here. So I'll start here on section 705, subsection A. And it reads, there is hereby created a commission to be known as the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which shall be composed of 5 members, not more than 3 of whom shall be members of the same political party, who shall be appointed by the president and with the advice and consent of the Senate. 1 of the original members shall be appointed for a term of 1 year. one for a term of 2 years, and one for a term of 3 years, one for a term of 4 years, and one for a term of 5 years, beginning from the date of enactment of this title, but their successors shall be appointed for terms of 5 years each, except that any individual chosen to fill a vacancy shall be appointed only for the unexpired term of the member whom he shall exceed. So just come to a stopping point right there. Basically, what I'm seeing here is that, of course, the president as well as Congress, which will be the Senate in this case, have to agree to appoint these 5 commissioners. And each one will have different terms in the beginning. So one will have 1, one will have 2, one will have 3, so forth and so on. But also their successors. So when they vote upon, the new members of the commission, they'll each have 5-year terms. If one were to become vacant due to whichever kind of situation, death, just pretty much being kicked out of this government system in regards to being a commissioner, the person filling that vacancy will just have the remaining duration of their term. That's what I'm getting from this first little paragraph. We'll keep going here. The president shall designate 1 member to serve as chairman of the commission and 1 member to serve as vice chairman. The chairman shall be responsible on behalf of the commission for the administrative operations of the commission and shall appoint in accordance with the civil service laws such officers, agents, attorneys, and employees as it deems necessary to assist in the performance of its function and to fix their compensation in accordance with the Classification Act of 1949 as amended. The vice chairman shall act as chairman in the absence or disability of the chairman or in the event of a vacancy in that office. So again, right now, we're just looking at pretty much their procedure, how they will be filling these positions, the successors of these positions, if they were to become vacant. So again, we're just taking a look inside how this system is supposed to work in regards to this Civil Rights Commission that's going to be created. So we'll go here to subsection B. A vacancy in the commission shall not impair the right of the remaining members to exercise all powers of the commission, and 3 members thereof shall constitute a quorum. Subsection C, the commissioner or the commission shall have an official seal, which shall be judicially noticed. Subsection D, the commission shall at the close of each fiscal year report to the Congress and the president concerning the actions it has taken, the names, salaries, and duties of all individuals in its employ, and the monies it has disbursed, and shall make much further reports on the cause of and means of eliminating discrimination and such recommendations for further legislations as may appear desirable. I want to stop right there because as we always talk about, especially on this channel, we are not being accounted for. So here in this subsection D, they're saying that every fiscal year, there needs to be a report of not only the people that they employ, but also the disbursements of the monies that they give to these selective programs or these selective entities, one being the religious status, national origin, race, color, so forth and so on. So again, we're not seeing our group represented within this document. So every year when they're reporting this fiscal year report, and they're saying, yeah, we dispersed out to all these, let's say, minority groups, and our classification is not on that document. And they're able to get away from that because, again, we're not specifically referenced in this document. You want to build off of that there, Chief Alligator?
Well, yeah, I can. I mean, we're not going to see, well, let me go one step back. What we showing on this channel is after the Indian Removal Act in 1830 and the unlawful Seminole Wars that are still going on up until this day. The people in the Southeast region of North America were declassified during the Indian Removal Act and the Seminole Wars. So if you were Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, any other tribe indigenous to this land under a confederacy, over time, 9 times out of 10, you got reclassified to colored, Negro, or Black. So understanding that we got denationalized during the Indian Removal Act and during the unlawful Seminole Wars, we're not going to see the words Negro, Black, and colored in any of these documents because that's not who we are. You know, this is the price that we're paying for our ancestors standing 10 toes down and not going into Oklahoma, not going west of the Mississippi, continuing to fight as a European likes to rewrite history and use the word like Jim Crow laws. No, those are just acts of war in different towns and things like that we had. So it's clear now we're all halfway through this document. You know, we're not going to see the word Negro, Black, or colored. So we just have to continue to go along and understand as we continue to read these different documents. We know we are the Indian, we are the American. But what this is this document is for the world. The United States government was operating under intense military occupation on the American, AKA Jim Crow laws. In order to please the world, they had to do a Civil Rights Act and allow all citizens from different nations around the world, they had to create new terms. We fell up under these terms by default. However, we never got repaired for all the towns that were burned during the unlawful wars in the 1800s or during the Jim Crow era in the 1900s. Nothing was repaired. It's basically just integrate and just forget about what happened. And so that's where we are now. We're just untying those knots and seeing how we got here.
Great point. Great point. Great points made there. I'll continue here, subsection E. The Federal Executive Pay Act of 1956, as amended, is further amended by adding a section 105 thereof, the following clause: Chairman, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and by adding a clause of section 106A thereof, the following: Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. The principal office of the commission shall be in or near the District of Columbia, but it may meet or exercise any or all of its powers at any other place. The commission may establish such regional or state offices as it deems necessary to accomplish the purpose of this title. The commission shall have power to cooperate with and with their consent, utilize regional, state, local, and other agencies, both public and private, and individuals, interesting, to pay to witnesses whose depositions are taken or who are summoned before the commission or any of its agents the same witness and mileage fees as are paid to witnesses in the courts of the United States. So basically here, what I'm reading just in regards to their powers, they're able to call on pretty much any and everybody, no matter what level of government they're looking to seek help from. So it could be your local government, your county, state, it doesn't matter. It seems like they have power to pretty much call on any and everybody in regards to making sure that civil rights are being given to, again, these entities.
Right. And if you've never been through this process, the EEOC, basically, if you're working on a job and you feel like you're being discriminated against, like it's hard to prove your case because you have to have employees that are going to speak on your behalf. Right. So then you get in that catch-22 where a lot of people don't want to get involved because then the manager, the management will look at them. But that's basically what you're reading right now. You're reading about the commission and the setup of the EEOC. And so that's where your paper trail and everything has to come into play. If you feel like you're not getting promoted or you're qualified for something, but a European is getting a promotion over you, but you have to prove discrimination. So then that's where your other employees would have to come into play, and they would have to say that they're also qualified and they didn't get the opportunity. So from my experience, it's just like anything else dealing with this group of people. It's always going to be 10 to 20% that are going to stand up and fight for something. Most of the time, we talk a good game, but when it's time to actually do something, your people won't show up and they won't be there for you. But that what we're reading right now is the EEOC. If you can when I start reading, if you can go up and pull this act up while when I start reading, if you scroll up real quick,
Yeah.
act that you went over. And the name of that act is
Hold on. Oh,
Classification Act of 1949.
yes.
Yeah. So once you start reading, I start reading. I want you to pull that up.
Okay.
Classification Act of 1949, just to see what it what
Entail.
was that act? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
In
Great.
1956, when it's talking about federal pay, our group wasn't citizens in 1956.
That's a great point too. Just again, like you stated earlier, this act is for the world. So if we just again think back of that time, what was going on, you had lots of national coverage showing the American, the Negro, being warred upon, whether it's dogs being sicked on them, water hoses, again, lynchings, different massacres, things of that nature. So if they are seeing that, okay, this is being broadcast to the world now, they're like, okay, we got to make sure that when we do bring in these other groups, we're saying this won't happen to you. We have things in place lawfully that are going to make sure this won't happen to you. So again, while it's happening to us, and we aren't being prepared for it happening to us, because again, we're not seeing anything specific to the actual group that is being warred upon. We're just seeing, okay, doors open, revolving door, everybody can come in. Don't have to worry about this happening to you all. We have protections in place. We can call upon any branch of government we need to make sure that there is no discrimination, that you have equal employment opportunity in any business that you want. So you're starting to see, okay, and it's continued today. But this is pretty much the framework of that.
Right. And the nickname for this is the Great New Society. After the Civil Rights era, the president, I believe it was either Nixon or Johnson, they called it the Great Society. So that's when you get your hippies, your Europeans were getting high off LSD and cocaine and heroin, and Europeans could sleep with Negroes now and not have to worry about being lynched. And so we fell for low-hanging fruit, low-hanging wins. And what we're doing now is we're just walking back through history and just seeing that the government tried to put the people who run government, not government, because government isn't a thing. It's people who run government. The people who run government thought they pulled a fast one and thought that they could have all these acts of war against us with the lynchings and the running us out of towns and running us out of the South where the undeclared Seminole Wars took place, and just think that we'll just make it a big melting pot for the world and move on. And no, that's what being repaired is about. No, we need to go back and we have to account and address everything that was done. Right? You just tore our shit up and just think we just gonna move on. It can't work like that.
Nah, absolutely, absolutely. I'll pick up here, number 3, to furnish to persons subject to this title such technical assistance as they may request to further their compliance with this title or an order issued thereunder upon the request of any employer whose employees or some of them, or any labor organization whose members or some of them refuse or threaten to refuse to cooperate in the effectuating the provisions of this title to assist in such effectuation by conciliation or such other remedial actions as is provided by this title, to make such technical studies as are appropriate to effectuate the purposes and policies of this title and make the results of such studies available to the public, to refer matters to the Attorney General with recommendations for intervention in a civil action brought by an aggrieved party under Section 706, or for the institution of a civil action by Attorney General under Section 707, and to advise, consult, and assist the Attorney General on such matters. So again, we're just looking at the process here that is taking place if one were to go forward with a civil action suit.
Well, Section 4 touches on what I was talking about. Where it says, upon the request of any employer whose employees or some of them, or any labor organization whose members or some of them refuse or threaten to refuse to cooperate. That's normally what happens. happens to you and you feel like you're being discriminated against, most of the time you're gonna need people to validate. You see what I'm saying? I think it's 3. And so the issue is you can have a legitimate gripe, but the issue is going to be getting those other employees to walk with you. I went through that in my 20s. I actually had a case. It actually, I forgot the word they used for it. But I remember the lady was all excited and everything. When she called me, she was like, you know, your case went through. And by that time I had outgrown the situation. But yeah, that process took about a year to get to that point. But I'm speaking from my own experience where they wanted me to train somebody that didn't have any type of technical experience, basically to have my days off and take my position. I was like, hell no, that don't even sound right. But it was a standing up and going through the process. That's when I learned early in life about us, right? We talk big shit in the break room, right? It's time to stand up and go through the process. Man, I'm doing this today in my life for a reason. I've been through too many battles, man, out here in the real world, and we lose as a group of people right now because we're literally scared of the boogeyman. These people are public servants. These people aren't lords or giants. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Niggas will talk behind the scenes real big, but when it comes time to actually, you know, put in that work and go through the procedure, man, that's tap out. So
and that's crazy too. Just how this is all in alignment with that Dr. Woodson quote number 4. How he was basically saying we need workers and not leaders. You know, these people just talking about it, but when it comes down to it, the workers are what's going to actually get us or solve that problem. So like you said, you got one person that's saying, okay, this is what we need to do. You're seeing, I mean, it's not like it's not happening to you as well. We talk about it, like you said, in the break room, but for some reason now when the rubber meets the road, you want to tuck your tail. All right, come on now. So great.
And what ends up happening, just to tie in, if I use the job scenario with being under this government, looking back and just sharing that what we're reading about the EEOC, I can look back and say I was too big for that company. I didn't belong there.
Yeah.
My feathers were too bright. You understand?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't belong. And the other people that they're cool with it. They hear what you're saying, like, damn, yeah, that is right. But
facts.
Now translating into what we're dealing with this government right now.
Yeah.
What we're saying to our people is we don't belong in this.
But some people cool with it.
We too good for this. Like, yeah, there's no money. There ain't no money in this shit. What are we dealing with? What are we doing at this point? We're getting killed and this government is literally bankrupt. There is no money.
Nah,
this shit is mental at this point.
Yeah, that's an excellent tie-in because that's exactly the parallel situation. You have a group of us that's saying we showing you proof of claim that it's not for us. Again, we haven't seen anything regarding our group, the Negro color that was being classified at that time in these documents. We're seeing the wars, the violence being put on us. There is no money. So again, like you said, we too big for this. We got to step away, get our own next opportunity. But some people are, like you said, content with it. Yeah, we'll talk about it, but we're not trying to put in work to have something better. And that's just the facts of the situation there. Let me see, I'll pick up here, finish off this page. Subsection H, attorneys appointed under this section may, at the direction of the commission, appear for and represent the commission in any case in the court. The commission shall, in any of its educational or promotional activities, cooperate with other departments and agencies in the performance of such educational and promotional activities. All officers, agents, attorneys, and employees of the commission shall be subject to the provisions of Section 9 of the Act of August 2nd, 1939, as amended, the Hatch Act, notwithstanding any exemption contained in such section. Let's see here. Prevention of unlawful employment practices. If you want that, Chief Alligator, I'm happy to pick up there and I'm gonna look at look into that act to try to pull that up.
Okay, and if you can also check the email, I believe we have an image of the silver certificates that we saw not too long ago.
Perfect.
We
Perfect.
at the end.
All right.
Section 706, prevention of unlawful employment practices. Whenever it is charged in writing under oath by a person claiming to be aggrieved, or a written charge has been filed by a member of the commission where he has reasonable cause to believe a violation of this title has occurred, and such charge sets forth the facts upon which it is based, that an employer, employment agency, or labor organization has engaged in unlawful employment practice, the commission shall furnish such employer, employment agency, or labor organization hereinafter referred to as the respondent with a copy of such charge, and shall make an investigation of such charge, provided that such charge shall not be made public by the commission. I'm gonna stop right there, and I'm gonna speak on how this is bullshit. The EEOC can file charges right now for unlawful employment for all major condo buildings and restaurants in any downtown major city under the United States government. Everybody who works in the kitchen and everybody who does the housekeeping cannot speak English, and you people are not making payroll legally, which means you're not paying withholding taxes. So this is a whole bunch of bullshit. This is the fraud that we're living in. They're telling you to compete legally when you go downtown, any city under this government, Dallas, Atlanta, Miami, New York, and you go to one of them restaurants and that housekeeping, no speak English, that's unlawful employment. They're paying these people under the table. These people do not pay taxes. For anybody who watches this video or who's reading along with us, it's bullshit. They've got structures in place, but they don't enforce it. Your kids should be working downtown in them hotels and in them restaurants while they in high school, not people who can't speak English and not are quote unquote US citizens. Just want to throw that in. It's a bunch of bullshit. I don't know if y'all with me or not on this. I'll keep going. If the commission shall determine after such investigation that there is reasonable cause to believe that the charge is true, the commission shall endeavor to eliminate any such alleged unlawful employment practice by informal methods of conference, conciliation, and persuasion. Nothing said or done during and as a part of such endeavors may be made public by the commission without the written consent of the parties or used as evidence in a subsequent proceeding. Any officer or employee of the commission who shall make public in any manner whatever any information in violation of this subsection shall be deemed guilty of a misdemeanor, and upon conviction thereof shall be fined not more than $1,000 or imprisoned not more than 1 year. So when they're investigating unlawful employers, they can't go public with it. But again, it's a bunch of bullshit, because any city, any major city downtown district, you got people who cannot speak English who are working in these restaurants and in these 5-star, 4-star hotels. We're not even going to talk about the agriculture in the rural areas, right? So this whole thing is broken at this point. But going back to what we were just talking about, we don't want to let go. It's broken. It's broken, y'all. Anything you want to share on that, bro?
Nah, I mean, shoot, you just hit the nail on the head. Like and like you said, we know this, but yeah, we know this, they know this, but again, nothing is being actually done regarding. So like you said, it's obviously not working. It is broken. Is all of this stuff that is being said within this document is just invalid at this point, because they're not following their own procedures. Again, even going back to the Constitution, we see that they're not following their own procedures. So again, why are we content as the American to still be underneath this whole fake situation? Are we not bigger than this? That's a question you have to ask yourself as the viewer. If you're content with your standing, your status underneath this government.
I'll pick up section B here. In the case of an alleged unlawful employment practice occurring in a state or political subdivision of a state, which has a state or local law prohibiting the unlawful employment practice alleged in establishing or authorizing a state or local authority to grant or seek relief from such practice or to institute criminal proceedings with respect thereto upon receiving notice thereof, no charge may be filed under subsection A by the person aggrieved before the expiration of 60 days after proceeding have been commenced under the state or local law, unless such proceedings have been earlier terminated, provided that such 60-day period shall be extended to 120 days during the first year after the effective date of such state or local law. So even at the state and local law level, would it be criminal when you're unlawfully working prisoners? Again, we're just talking business now. So you got a lot of small businesses that can't get county, city, or state contracts. Why? Because you got state correctional facilities or private correctional facilities under the state working, i.e. involuntary slaves, which would be people convicted of felonies that are being housed, right, as prisoners. And in that unlawful employment, hell, they're sending them people to technical schools and giving them skills and then giving them work details for 20 years straight and paying them pennies on the dollar, even though there is no money. But yeah, they'll make 3 cents a day. Whereas that could actually be a contract to a small business out here in real time where they can be hiring people and actually paying people, you know, a real hourly wage. So this whole thing is corrupt. It's a whole bunch of kickbacks. And again, that's why we're taking time to read these documents, because we're losing as a group of people because we don't know the rules to the game.
Facts.
We don't know the rules to the game. Anything you want to build on that before I take the call?
I was just gonna say, like, just going back to what you just stated, that last sentence he just said, you know, we don't know the rules to the game. And if we don't know the rules to the game, we won't know that it is flawed, that this system, this game doesn't work how it's supposed to work. So once we understand that, then instead of, again, having our quote unquote educated of the group saying we need to, what is the word, reconstruct or fix this system, it's like, nah, this first and foremost, the system was never meant for you and I. So why would we fix something that wasn't meant for us instead of just building our own or reestablishing our own? So like you said, us not knowing this, we won't know that this system is flawed. Yeah, but you may think, you know, okay, something isn't right, but when you actually read the documents and say, okay, yeah, this is not how this shit goes. It's like you just stated, hell, you got so many undocumented people working under the table, living their best life, all these things, yet our group of people can't get any type of jobs, any type of hiring, straight school to prison pipeline. So if you don't understand the rules of the system or this actual game and how everything is set up and how it's supposed to work, you won't really know for a fact that it is flawed. And that's what, like you said, what we're doing right now, breaking this stuff down.
Shout out to V Cooper 52. I'm gonna read his comment real quick. He said, this is so true. 10 years ago in WDC, they had to close so many restaurants here because they were found to employ foreigners and pay them under the table. That's an intellectual way to combat that. Is to turn those companies in, because again, you can't compete with somebody who's not making payroll. A lot of us don't understand that if we're not in business. But if you're not making payroll, then you don't have to withhold payroll taxes, which means those people don't file, you know, like this is income tax season around this time. They got nothing to file because nothing was never withheld because they don't get paychecks. But then on the back end of that, when you look at all the crime that was taking place since 2020, let's go ahead and connect one more dot. Yeah. If they're not making payroll, they never got the extra money from the Department of Labor, depending on the state they live in, because they're not getting paychecks, so they're not paying into the system. Excuse me. So what they're doing is trying to criminalize our people. Like, we're the reason that crime is skyrocketing, when really it's your illegals that were committing the crimes, because they didn't get the 900 or 1,200, whatever it was, extra in unemployment. Why? They're outside the system. So when those hotels closed down, when those restaurants closed down, they was asked out. I'm just throwing that extra bar in there, just, you know, just for something to think about, because they quick to try to make it seem like it was our people that was committing all the crime. But you got to understand how this system works. No, the people who were asked out were the illegals.
And how do we know that too? Because they said you would have had to file what? A tax return the previous year to even be eligible to get those checks that were being cut. So no, that's a great point. Great point there.
All right, I'm gonna keep going. If any requirement for the commencement of such proceedings is imposed by a state or local authority, other than a requirement of the filing of a written or signed statement of the facts upon which the proceeding is based, the proceeding shall be deemed to have been commenced for the purposes of this subject. I'm sorry. The proceeding shall be deemed to have been commenced for the purposes of this subsection at the time such statement is sent by registered mail to the appropriate state or local authority. So basically, the requirement is, when you're dealing with state or local, it's got to be written and it's got to be a signed statement, and you got to send it certified mail. Certified mail just basically means you're going to make sure somebody signs. It's registered mail, registered and certified. Really, you want somebody to sign for it. Subsection C. So we're talking procedure in that section that I just read right there. What's the procedure that you have to do? In the case of any charge filed by a member of the commission alleging an unlawful employment practice occurring in a state or political subdivision of a state, which has a state or local law prohibiting the practice alleged and establishing or authorizing a state or local authority to grant or seek relief from such practice or to institute criminal proceedings with respect thereto upon receiving notice thereof, the commission shall, before taking any action with respect to such charge, notify the appropriate state or local officials and, upon request, afford them a reasonable time, but not less than 60 days, provided that such 60-day period shall be extended to 120 days during the first year after the, gotta scroll down, after the effective day of such state or local law, unless a shorter period is requested to act under such state or local law to remedy the practice alleged. All right, so if a charge is filed on behalf of the commission has to notify the state or local law prohibiting the practice alleged and establishing or authorizing the state or local authority to grant or seek relief. That's a kickback scheme, right? How do you have illegals working at the state and local level? Pretty much probably in all of them. The reason for that is, if I'm an employer and I'm not making a legit payroll, I'm gonna have to break bread with that state and local division of the EEOC. If I'm on some gangster shit, if I'm on the criminal side of it,
Pay them off.
why did I keep them people from filing claims on me? Because there's no way that the Hyatt in downtown any motherfucking city,
Yeah.
you go in that kitchen, or you go through them back ways where the technical people go, and you get in the insides of them buildings and you see all them people who can't speak English. The only way you can have a building and an establishment that big and have a whole, the whole kitchen and the whole housekeeping, non-English speaking, non-US citizens and non-payroll, you got to be breaking off the state and local authorities from the EEOC to never file a claim on.
Correct.
It's a kick.
Yeah, like you said, you're just paying off the authorities. That way it doesn't come back to you, like you stated, because I'm pretty sure you got Americans in there saying, hell no, man, like ain't no way in hell they getting the same amount of pay as me. Matter of fact, they getting more because they're not getting taxed on their pay in regards to this. And I'm going to the EEOC and my case can't even be heard or nah. Yeah. because we have, again, people in these certain areas that are acting as buffers to make sure it don't get up any higher or this process isn't followed. So no, that's a great point.
I keep it even more real. The only quote unquote Americans that work at these hotels would be the concierge. And they're up front. Everybody in the back are the illegal immigrants. So they're not going to hire you. Yeah, why would they put you back there with them? They don't speak English. You can't work with them. So it makes absolute perfect sense. I keep going here on I'm at D. No, I'm at C. I'm at D. I'm at D.
Yeah.
A charge under subsection A shall be filed within 90 days after alleged unlawful employment practice occurred, except that in the case of an unlawful employment practice with respect to which the person aggrieved has followed the procedures set out in this subsection. B, such charge should be filed by the person aggrieved within 210 days after the alleged unlawful employment practice occurred, or within 30 days after receiving notice that the state or local agency has terminated the proceedings under the state or local law, whichever is earlier, and a copy of such charge shall be filed by the commission with the state or local agency. So I'm gonna ask a question right here again. With all of these major hotels and restaurants in any downtown district under the United States government, how is it that they're still operating and they're not shut down? These people in these local and state offices are getting kickbacks, but they're telling you to play fair. The shit's broken, y'all. It's broken. You can't compete when you got people that don't have to make payroll and all they got to do is break bread with local and state authorities. Meanwhile, they're telling you to cross all T's, dot all I's. You got to have a driver's license or your ass going to jail. Illegal people who ain't even U.S. citizens don't really go to jail for driving without license. I mean, come on, man, this shit's broken at this point. Anything you want to say on this, G-Bico?
No, I just want to shout out to V. Cooper, man. He asked a great question. He said, can we say that Trump was on point for having ICE on the hunt under his term based off what we're, reading?
Yes, he was. But again, let's not get tricked, V. Cooper. Government still isn't for our group. Okay. Yes.
Correct.
Trump was correct when he set up ICE. But who was that to help? His people.
Yeah.
See, they fucked up too now. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, for real.
They used to be working downtown. They used to be the concierge and all. They done got pushed out. I don't, depending on what city you live in, bro, you might just need to drive downtown and just go in some of them nice hotels and go to the restaurant set and just start paying attention. Who's the concierge? You might see an American as the concierge. Most of them are foreigners. But definitely, if you can get in that kitchen or next time you stay at a hotel, pay attention to your housekeeping, bro. None of them can speak English, man. So you automatically know that Holiday Inn is running an illegal operation. Or that Ramada Inn or that Hyatt is running an illegal operation. How many times you tell them ladies, hey, I don't want y'all to come in here. Sorry, no English. God damn.
No, that's a great point. Great point. Were
you able to look up that Reclassification Act?
Yeah, so was it reclassification or classification? I'm gonna go back up real quick. I know we stopped off on B here. So I was typing in Classification Act of 1949, I believe it was.
Correct.
Let me see it off. It might be at the bottom.
A little bit further up. Right there.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, let me so I pulled up something, but it's not giving me the document. So I'm still searching for it on my end.
All right. Let me see, where am I at?
We on E, I believe.
Yep. Okay. If within 30 days after a charge is filed with the commissioner or within 30 days after expiration of any period of reference under subsection C, except that in either case, such period may be extended to not more than 60 days upon a determination by the commission that further efforts to secure voluntary compliance are warranted, the commission has been unable to obtain voluntary compliance with this title, the commission shall so notify the person aggrieved, and a civil action may, within 30 days thereafter, be brought against the respondent named in the charge by the person claiming to be aggrieved, or if such charge was filed by a member of the commission by any person whom the charge alleges was aggrieved by the alleged unlawful employment practice. So the charge can either come from the commission, or it's going to come from somebody who is working somewhere where they see unlawful people being employed. If it comes from the employee working somewhere and let's just say he gets fired for whatever reason, and then he's like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and spill the beans and talk and say how many illegals you got working there. How many people are you going to get to go with you and stand on that? But let's not even play that game. Just step back and just look at it. The fact that you know that you got people who are not U.S. citizens. Being an American and a U.S. citizen is totally different. Being an American means you got great-grandparents buried in this land. And you understand what I'm saying? A U.S. citizen is somebody who got immigration papers, which is all Europeans and people coming from other walks of life. These people aren't even U.S. citizens, and they're being paid. And that's become normal to all of us. When we stay in these fancy hotels and when you go to these downtown restaurants, that's become normal to us, seeing this. But what it's doing is you're looking at an equal opportunity commission that is broken and corrupt. That's what we're living it right now. So you tie that in with January 6th, you tie that in with all this other political theater. There is no money under this government. Article 1, Section 10 as of 1971. We're showing on this channel that you've been waging unlawful wars because your Congress never declared any war. So you're clearly out of jurisprudence. You're not in order. You're not running anything in compliance with what you set up in writing. But now you're turning around and having political theater this week about people need to be pledge allegiance to the flag when they're in these different, whether they're in the House committee. It's all bullshit at this point. Like, this shit is broken. And it's been broken. It's been broken since 1971 when they took the money out. If there's no other reason that we should be done with this shit, it's the fact that there is no money. We really got to get that. There is no money. They took the money out the system when they made this the great new society.
Want to jump in real quick with you, man. V. Cooper stated, you know, they're bringing them over by the busload pretty much into the DMV area. And I know we heard also news articles about the same thing happening, you know, in New York, I believe. It's like pretty much a whole safe haven, basically, for, you know, these groups. And just see exactly where they're bringing them, though. Like you said, DMV area, New York, that whole East Coast. So, again, who were there? The wars continuously being waged on our group, mainly in that Southeast region of the United States as well. So you can see already, again, trying to replace us while also benign and neglecting us, while also still warn against us. But now, okay, we're going to get some individuals undocumented to come and replace y'all because y'all aren't doing any jobs that they can't do, because we'll just go ahead and wipe you out. And now we have that workforce that can pretty much take your place. So yeah, that's a great point though being made there.
Yeah, we are being erased. We're damn near there.
Yeah.
We're damn near there at this point. Yeah, we don't need to beat that dead horse, but yeah, V. Cooper, you're absolutely, I mean, at least you got your eyes open, V. Cooper, and that's part of what we're doing here. You can't win a game unless you know what time it is. So now people can open up their eyes after tonight, if you haven't had your eyes open, and just pay attention to who's working downtown, right? Pay attention to these large skyscraper buildings. When you see all these people who can't speak English in it, understand that the management and the ownership of that company are cheating because they're not making payroll. They're literally paying people under the table. So when those people lose their job, they can't file unemployment. They can't go to EEOC. So they're just going to pretty much, they're like indentured servants. They're going to do whatever it is they need to be done. their kids can still go to school. Even though they can't speak English, they will hire teachers that speak only their language, right? I mean, this shit's broken. It's just, I'm gonna keep saying that. At this, I mean, how long we got to keep playing? This shit is broken. Let it fall. Let it fall.
Thanks.
I'm gonna pick back up. Where am I at? I start E. Okay. So
I'm not sure if you jumped into, or did you start? You started E already, right?
Yep, I'm at 1 right now. By the person claiming to be aggrieved.
Action.
Yep, by the person claiming to be aggrieved, or if such charge was filed by a member of the commission, by any person whom the charge alleges was aggrieved by the alleged unlawful employment practice, upon application by the complainant, and in such circumstances as the court may deem just, the court may appoint an attorney for such compliant and may authorize the commencement of the action without the payment of fees, costs, or security. So we're talking procedure again, how they can get the court involved. But again, all you gotta do is look at your any major district downtown and look at all the illegal citizens that are working in all of these establishments, and you can clearly see this whole EEOC structure commission, it's broken and it's corrupt. Upon timely application, the court may, in its discretion, permit the Attorney General to intervene in such civil action if he certifies that the case is of a general public importance. All right, so just the fact that you don't have attorney generals all over saying, hey, we got a serious problem with illegals working in the major downtown districts of all the major cities. The fact that you don't see that, come on, bro, you're getting paid under the table. Upon request, the court may, in its discretion, stay further proceedings for not more than 60 days pending determination of state or local proceedings described in subsection B, or the efforts of the commission to obtain voluntary compliance. So the state, the attorney general can pick it up, or the state or local can pick it up. So basically you're paying ping pong between the two. Who you gonna break off? You gonna break off the attorney general, or you gonna break off the state and local? Right? Because all of those are just divisions up under the federal EEOC. I got to finish F. Yep. Subsection F, each United States district court and each United States court of a place subject to the jurisdiction of the United States shall, got to scroll down, have jurisdiction of actions brought under this title. Such an action may be brought in any judicial district in the state in which the unlawful employment practice is alleged to have been committed, in the judicial district in which the employment records relevant to such practice are maintained and administered, or in the judicial district in which the plaintiff would have worked before the alleged unlawful employment practice. But if the respondent is not found within any such district, such an action may be brought within the judicial district in which the respondent has his principal office for purposes of section 1404 and 1406 of Title 28 of the United States Code. The judicial district in which the respondent has his principal office shall in all cases be considered a district in which the action might have been brought. Number one, none of this can happen if you're getting paid under the table. And then if you are getting paid legit and you're trying to bust out all the people that aren't getting paid legit, there's no record of how they're getting paid. So it's one of them, what's the word they used to use? It's like a cesspool. It's like when you work in that type of environment, as soon as you go along with it for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days and you don't say nothing,
Examinated already.
it's as dirty as everybody else at that point.
Yeah. Damn. Interesting. Okay.
This get deep because it's really just showing you where we're at right now. You know, you're on the outside looking in, trying to be a citizen of something when you can clearly see, and I'm just gonna keep going back to this. You cannot compete with if you're a business owner, how can you compete with somebody that doesn't make legit payroll?
Yeah, you can't. They cheating the system. They're cheating the game. It's like somebody putting in I know all my gamers, my Grand Theft Auto players, they putting in the unlimited ammo and unlimited guns cheat code, and you supposed to be able to beat them with a bat, a baseball bat. You can't compete. you can't compete. They're putting in cheat codes, and again, we're seeing them pay off these local and state authorities. That way, again, none of these cases can be brought up in court. So it's like, hey, like you said, you just in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
How big is section G? Because we just hit the hour mark.
In it right here. So we can stop there, and if you want to, I pulled up that some of those documents for that Classifications Act. Then I have the other stuff we can share with the chat as well with the money.
Okay. What did you find on that Classification Act?
Pretty much definitions of what it actually, like the terms of pretty much different classifications at that time. So let me see, pull it up here. So we stopping at G, page 21, okay. All right, so this is one of the documents, Library of Congress. Let's see here. I'm actually start right here and kind of just read through or start on this subsection A. In the case of an employee whose rate of basic compensation prior to such transfer was in excess of maximum scheduled rate of the grade in which his position has been classified under the Classification Act of 1949 as amended, the increase in compensation granted by this section shall be added to such rate on basic compensation. In the case of an employee whose rate of basic compensation prior to such transfer was less than the maximum scheduled rate of the grade in which his position has been classified under Classification Act of 1949 as amended, the increase in compensation granted by this section shall be considered as part of the rate of basic compensation of such employee for the purpose of determining the rate of basic compensation to be established for such employee in accordance with the grade in which his position has been classified. So what I'm getting here is basically what that classification rate also had to do with pay for, I'm guessing, certain positions that you held within certain job industries or sections like that. So I'm guessing more so like a, what is it? A national pay rate. Yeah, yes. Pay structure, national pay rate for certain job duties.
Okay, I thought Classification Act was going to get into some type of reclassification, like from Negro colors, but no, this is about pay.
Yeah, it seems more like pay. Examining board.
So this wouldn't apply to us in 1949 anyway, based on United States government history. So, yeah, you weren't. Our group was not made citizens until 1964. So we've all. Or my great aunt, one of my great aunts was actually a maid for Europeans, and she used to clean their houses. But we probably all have stories within our families where, let's say your great aunt or your great uncle made 10 cents an hour, but the European made $1. Well, yeah, that European made more than you because there's an actual government and a system that's backing him. You may have the job, but you're not a US citizen. So yeah, you're going to get underpaid, whether you served in the military or whether they hired you. So we got to get that in our minds. You were not a part of this until 1964.
A great point, because it's not even, I just did a quick search for the word, just race, and nothing in this document or these two documents that I just pulled up are even discussing that. So like you said, it just again highlights that we weren't a part of this government and they weren't even worried about race, religion, national origin prior to any of these civil rights acts.
Yep. So we'll hit them with the constitutional money real quick. One of the chiefs on the channel had went to a museum and he had found something that we want to tie in. If you can pull up Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution real quick.
Sir.
And for everybody in the chat, I don't know if you can drop that document as well, the Constitution.
Constitution, yeah, I got you.
Just as we cite to it real quick, because we're always talking about Article 1, Section 10, where again, the European, when they set up this government, they clearly defined what money was going to be. And it was gold or silver coin. So what we're looking at right here is a $5 silver certificate. Now, let's pay attention to this document very closely, and let's look across the top. If you can scroll your cursor across the top of Lincoln's head, where it says silver certificate. Can people see that in the chat? I can't really see the chat. Can people see that in the chat? If they can see that in the chat, can you put a fire sign? If you can see where it says silver certificate across the top of that $5 bill.
Just ask the chat if is it legible. I zoomed in a little bit more.
Okay.
You see, but I'm seeing it's pretty legible on my end from the actual chat.
So we can
definitely see it.
Yeah, okay, somebody did respond. Okay, so across the top, it says silver certificate. All right. Now, if you back out a little bit, Chief Biko, back out some more. Okay. And then if you, up under Lincoln's picture, it says $5. And under the words $5, it says, in silver payable to the bearer on demand.
Mm.
So when we're talking about Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution, this is what $5 looked like before 1971. If you're like me and you're born after 1971, you've never seen a $5 bill look like this. Why? This is real money because it's backed by silver. It says silver certificate across the top, and it says that in silver payable to the bearer on demand at the bottom, meaning you could take that to the bank and the bank would give you silver in return for that bill. Can you pull up Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution real quick so we can explain to them why this is important and why all of us are intellectually dumb at this point? We're playing, there is no money. When we say there is no money, it's not because we're wearing tinfoil hats. We're just reading the rules to the game and just saying, Article 1, Section 10, no state shall enter any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money. No state can coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. So we're going to ask everybody that's reading Article 1, Section 10, and if you can put that Constitution, if you could pin it to the top in the chat so people can read it for themselves if they don't have it. When have you ever paid something off with gold or silver coin? Now, don't play mind games with yourself and say, oh, that's the Constitution, man. That shit was written in 1776. Well, this is what this government is supposed to be abiding by. So we're showing you Article 1, Section 10. It's telling you make anything but gold and silver coin tender in payment of debt. Now let's go back to that $5 silver certificate.
And just like you said, just to kind of piggyback off of that, like if somebody is saying, you know, this is the Constitution, this is written, you know, hundreds of years ago, the same applies to what we're reading with the Civil Rights Act. We're seeing that they're not abiding by their own procedures. And that's the whole point we're making. So if they're not abiding by their procedures, why are we still content with being a part of this government that doesn't even play by its own rules?
Go back to the 5. Okay. Anybody who has a $5 bill near them, pick that $5 bill up and read across the top. It does not say silver certificate. It's going to say Federal Reserve note. A Federal Reserve note is not a silver certificate. Let me say that one more time. A Federal Reserve note is not a silver certificate. As of 1971, the United States government has not paid any US citizens money. That's the main reason why are we supporting this? We're getting killed on video. You're not specifically being repaired for Jim Crow. Why are you going along? It's bankrupt. It's over with. It can't pay its citizens anymore. The only thing that keeps this thing going is the fact that you believe or you have trust in the government that's Jim Crowed you, waged unlawful Seminole wars against you, Indian removal acts you, reclassified you. You got faith in that government. That's what makes the Federal Reserve note money today, because the money was taken out in 71.
We got someone in the chat, of Duke, said he remembers in 76 that his dad had to turn in his gold and silver to the bank, and he never understood why.
Great point. And to add on to that, a Duke, when you go to a museum, they tag the money now as non-circulatable. In other words, so you're absolutely right. Your dad had to turn it in because they took the money out the system. So you can't use real money more. I believe it's on one of these. I think it's on the $1 bill that you're about to go to. It says non-circulatable. It might be on this. There you go, uncirculated. Yeah, you can't circulate it because it's real. So this is further proof. Why are we playing around with this shit at this point? This is like the perfect time in United States government history for us to stand up. It has nothing. It's bankrupt. Here's a $1 bill that says silver certificate across the top. Pull a $1 bill out your pocket. I might have one on me. Yeah, I got one on me. Pull a $1 bill out your pocket right now. That shit says Federal Reserve note across the top. It does not say silver certificate. Up under $1, it says in silver payable to the bearer on demand. Under the words $1 on this one, they took that language out. So I cannot turn this into a bank.
I'm about to say, can you share that? Yeah, okay.
Okay, let me pull this. Let me get this close to the screen. Across the top, it says Federal Reserve note.
Yep, it does not say that same silver certificate. And I believe it says,
and at the bottom, they took the pay on demand under the $1. Whereas, yeah, they took that off. Yeah, because that's unlawful language now. You can't go to the bank and the bank give you silver. This is what y'all got in y'all pocket right now. You go in your pocket, you got Federal Reserve notes. So we just adding icing on top of the thing, and this is really just common sense at this point for us, man. This further proves that they're foreigners. They set up a foreign government on our land. They had a good run, but it's bankrupt. It's out of money now. It's been out of money since 1971. All we got to do is just stop participating in it, which is what we call boycott. Just sit down.
Yeah.
Just sit down. It's over with. You ain't got no money. So if you like me and if you like Chief Biko, you've lived your whole life and you've never been paid money. What we have to do today, and I'll be let me step away real quick. I'm gonna be right back.
Right.
But I'm gonna show you what you got to do today, because you're never going to get paid money from your employer.
Yeah, what he just showed was crazy as far as the difference. Same look, same style, but again, they intentionally changed the verbiage on these paper notes. So again, I'll go back just to show that. Silver certificate, did not say that on the top. And then also on the bottom, in silver payable to the bearer on demand. Definitely don't know that is not the case. You cannot walk into a bank and say, hey, I would like to get $1 worth of silver. They will give you $1 worth of quarters, $1 worth of dimes, $1 worth of nickels, pennies, but they will not give you $1 worth of silver.
All right. Only thing you can do now is when they pay you these notes, you have to convert it yourself. When they pay you these notes, you have to turn your fiat into constitutional money, which is gold and silver coin.
Yep, I think that just answered the question too in the chat.
This is money.
Mm-hmm.
These are 2 ounces. And does that word sound familiar to anybody born in the 70s, Generation X? They sell money in ounces, in eighths, and in kilos. That's the universal language for money on planet Earth. Kilos would be bars, ounces would be coins. So you see how they've dumbed us down? They've made the language of ounces and kilos, they've made it apply to drugs. It applies to constitutional money, gold and silver. These are 2 ounces.
Dang.
Y'all with me?
They rocking with you on this one, man.
So 28 grams is 28 grams. It could be 28 grams of soft, 28 grams of green, 28 grams of silver. An ounce is an ounce is an ounce. So we know the language, we've just been misapplying it. And that's been purposed through media propaganda. They've always associated ounces and kilos with the drug game, when in reality, the people who run companies, the people who run stuff, they'll pay you this, but then they convert into this.
And Chief Alligator, does it state this certificate is legal tender for all payments of debts, public and private? Still on that dollar or no?
On the one that we have here?
Yeah.
Yeah, on this one, it says this note, what's the key word?
Note.
This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private.
Damn. And this one says what? For the folks in the chat.
This certificate. Different, two different financial instruments. A certificate is not a note.
Correct.
A note is an IOU, it's a promise to pay. A certificate is correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a minute. If you pool a bunch of certificates together, you end up with bonds.
I think,
or is it the other way around? Because they're okay. So you're
I think if you pull a notes, because I know you got T-bills, treasury notes, and treasury bonds. So I'm not sure if we on the same.
Because okay, so if you pool a bunch of notes together, a bunch of notes will make a certificate. And then if you pool a bunch of certificates together, those certificates would make bonds. I believe it's been a minute since I've looked at that, but when they say birth certificate, we're not going to go into that, but that's a financial instrument. A certificate is a certificate is a certificate. It's a financial instrument. Just like a bond is a financial instrument. A note is just a promise to pay. The United States government was promising to pay in silver if you turned in $1 bill prior to 1971. Now, you can't take this same silver certificate $1 bill to the bank. Why? There is no money. It ain't got no silver for you. How many people in the chat feeling me?
They in here. They in here.
What do you do if you aren't participating? V. Cooper asked. You know, I'm glad you asked that question, man, because we don't realize our power until we stop participating. That's why we say it's a 13-week program. 13 weeks is 3 months. Think of it like going to the gym. That first week gonna be hard as hell. Body sore. By that second week, your body ain't gonna be as sore. And you'll start seeing your body kind of making a little alterations when you get up early in the morning. By that third week, you looking forward to it. You done hit that rhythm. It's the same thing with what we're pulling out of this system is going to be just like going to the gym. That first week, it's going to be hard as hell. It's going to be painful not to watch basketball and get your basketball tickets, your football tickets, do whatever you do in what we call nigger culture. It's going to be hard to stop it. But when you really understand there is no money, stop fucking with it. See, they need us to consume for the Ferris wheel to keep going. Just go back to 2020. That's why you had fiat falling out the sky in your mailbox. Even though it's a pandemic outside, people dropping dead like flies, this economy is built on you spending what you don't have. So even though they closed down your hotels, canceled sports, canceled travel, they still needed you to go out there and spend what you didn't even have, because it's a consumer nation. Everything that our ancestors invented via inventions, when they integrated us through the Civil Rights Act, that gave the United States government dominion over our ancestors' inventions and manufacturing, and they outsourced that shit to Asia. Now here you are 60 years later, Asia done perfected what we invented over here in the 1800s and selling it back to the United States government. But it's our shit.
That's the craziest thing
It's
about it.
our shit.
We
The
looking like it's
European took it, sold it to the Asians. Now the Asians manufacture it. But if we sit down and stop participating in the European government, then we can go back to the Asians and be like, okay, we appreciate y'all for what y'all were doing, but the world knows it's our shit. We ain't got, it's like everybody in your neighborhood knows your bike. One day you got to get up and tie your shoes up and just go outside and just knock them up off of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we are with this. They took everything, bro.
That's the craziest thing you said too. Like, and it's the truth, the reality. We created this stuff. They sold our inventions. They perfected and mass producing our inventions and sold us back our own shit. And then they're making it much cheaper and for a markup. So it's like you said, going back, if we correlating, the ounces, kilograms, things of that nature. I sold you something, the same shit, you ain't do nothing to it. You watered it down and resold it back 100 times the price back to me. Like, what? And
that's why we do an Inventor every week, y'all. I mean, that's why we do an American Inventor. We're trying to show you, you weren't the slave. It's your industry. Like, I don't know what it's going to, we'll never do the same inventor. Everybody who's listening on this channel right now, I really want you to listen to what I'm saying. We will never do the same invention twice as long as we're doing this. We have invented that much stuff. Let me tie it to school. From kindergarten to 12th grade, you can learn about a different inventor every week and never repeat the same one. From kindergarten to 12th grade. That's how big the lie is against our people. Do the math on it. George Washington Carver got 300 alone. It's 52 weeks in a year. You don't go to school for 52 weeks. How many weeks is in the school year? Like 25? So 25 into 300. You can go 6 years of school just on him alone.
Let that sink in.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta realize, man, the lies are, we can literally learn about a different American inventor every week from kindergarten to 12th grade. But they telling us we slaves. So that's what we doing on this channel. It's different, but that's why we gotta recover, man. It's like, I know sometimes people be like, damn, why they read a Dr. Carter G. Woodson quote every week? Because he was born in that era where we got declassified into Negro. So he was able to see the problem from us being the American, i.e. Indian, and Negro. The Negro is just non-organized.
Yeah.
That's what a Negro is. He's non-organized. At least these people have an equal opportunity commission. We don't even have that.
That's a great point.
We don't have any structure when it comes to us at all. All you got to do is create a nonprofit, get 3 or 4 niggas that want to rock with you, pay off the right people. They'll throw you in front of the TV and they'll say, Chief Alligator, the leader of such and such. And Chief Alligator ain't leading nothing in the real life. Y'all don't know who I am, but they'll put me in front of the TV and I'm the leader of the NAACP. And that's how they get us. Every time something happens to us, they throw out a new nigga in front of us. He's the leader. So shout out to Dr. Carter G. Woodson, because he wrote the book, The Miseducation of the Negro, and that whole book just talks about being organized. We're unorganized. And we depend on superimposed people to guide us somewhere. Your Ben Crumps, your Al Sharptons, they only come out during crisis.
They like damn Batman. Niggas send a bat signal, they on the way. And it does not benefit our people. So like you said, we read those Dr. Carter G. Woodson quotes for a reason, because they give us insight on the behavior of our group of people. Like, this man wrote this stuff, I'm not even sure when, what?
100 years ago, 1920s.
1920s. And they still are relevant today, if not more relevant today than they were probably. Like, come on, y'all. This shit ain't a coincidence. He saw the trend in 1920. And that same trend and pattern is still prevalent today. So shout out, but definitely want to shout out everybody in the chat, man, for y'all sticking with us on this one. Definitely had a great build. And again, we just exposing the flaws in this system. Anything you want to kind of close out on there, Chief?
Yeah, it's easy, man. All we got to do is sit down. I appreciate V Cooper 52 for asking the question, a Duke, everybody else in the chat. But that, George, that's why we're saying, if you read the steps that we talk about, that's why we talk about boycotting. All we have to do is sit down. If you believe that we're slaves, after all this proof of claim that we're giving you, we've been doing this for almost 2 years, and we've given you a different inventor every week. It's 52 weeks in a year. So we've done this for more than a year. So we're going on 104 weeks in July. And we have not given you the same invention. And we've shown you with government documents that these people have been doing unlawful wars against us. So we got to be gentle with ourselves, because yeah, when they can just burn you in the middle of the town and hang you because they accused you of something and nothing happens, 15,000 people. We put an article on the community page this week in Waco, Texas. 15,000 Europeans watched a teenager get burned alive in the town square. That's not Jim Crow. That's acts of war. So when you understand how we got into the Negro state, how we got disorganized, it was through unlawful war. And the main reason why we won't get organized today is because of one 4-letter word: fear. You're afraid these people will kill you. So if that ain't being warred upon, then what is? We are afraid right now to do what's right because we fear that what happened to Martin Luther King will happen to us. You can't live like that. And there is no money. So it's all fear at this point, because there is no money.
You know this. Yeah.
You're just scared.
Yeah. You're afraid to do anything to upset, like you say, that dragon.
And somebody said that's not counting all the inventions that's not documented. Yeah, that's correct. I mean, but just the ones that are documented. We'll never do the same one twice, as long as we're doing this, as long as we show up on a weekly basis and do this channel, man. So that's something to think about. You can't be slaves and be gods at the same time. Everything we invented got outsourced after the Civil Rights Act. And you'll hear Europeans say stuff like, man, things used to be made so much better when the real American was making it. Who was the one on the assembly lines making it? It was our shit. So once you know your history, when you hear them say that, you be like, yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna do it like us because we made it.
Mm-hmm.
That's like trying to make hip hop. That's like trying to make another group of people do hip hop. It ain't gonna hit like when we do it.
No, bro. You can never be the original. You just
this shit's supposed to be raggedy.
You're gonna lose something every time you go down from that derivative. So great point. Great point.
I appreciate everybody, man. And just this American History Month, what we do. I know some people call it Black History Month. We call it American History Month because Dr. Carter G. Woodson was an American. He was born in the late 1800s. His parents were born on this land, and his parents were born on this land. You understand what I'm saying? So we don't get caught up in the word Black. We understand We're reading the documents. We're showing you that Black doesn't exist. And we're going somewhere as we continue to read these documents. We're going to show who the government did give rights to. But we're showing our people who it didn't give rights to. So we going somewhere with this. But yeah, shout out to American History Month. And if you're an American and you melanated and you got grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents that's buried in this land, put some respect on this month. Because this month comprises, you can put all the American inventors that we do every week. Yeah, this that time of the year where we do it all year long. So we in alignment with our ancestors. We do this shit every week. We honor our ancestors every week. But we do have a month that was created by one of our own. Let's take the word Black off and just call it American History Month. Because there would be no rock and roll, there would be no jazz, there would be no blues, there would be no R&B, there would be no rap, there would be no music if it wasn't for us. Let alone cars, air conditioners, refrigerators, stoves, transmissions, telephones, railways.
You name it.
Name it. Yeah, so let's not get caught up in that Black History Month. It's American History Month because all the inventors look just like me and Chief Biko. We are the gods, man. We still waiting on pushback for having a lost Confederacy as a channel from the Europeans. We still waiting on you.
It's quiet.
It's gonna stay quiet.
It's quiet. But yeah, man. I mean, I ain't gotta say no more. Shit, we ended on that one.
Nah, go say something, bro. I mean, it's the first week of them. You know, a lot of people got issues with this quote unquote Black history. It ain't about Black history. It's about our history. These are Americans. Dr. Carter G. Woodson was an American.
Correct.
That man, most of these Europeans can't say that they bloodline go back to the 1800s. Come on, y'all.
Not at all. They gonna have documents of when they great-grandpa, great-grandma came off that boat. So
hell, Donald Trump, first generation immigrant. His daddy was from Germany. So we gotta recover mentally, man. Stand up proud for American History Month. Download those inventors, man. You need to know who these inventors are. You need to teach your kids once a week like we do. We giving you game once a week for free. An American inventor. We hitting you with it. And we gonna always hit you with a different one. Come on, we should be standing up year round. Our history is that great. We're showing you. We just adding a little extra fuck shit for the month of February just because it's, because it's that month, but we give it to you year round. We're giving you American history. We're showing you we invented the guitar and all this shit, man. So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame does not exist in our minds. It's our shit. Some of y'all old enough to remember Elvis Presley and them were taking Little Richard and James Brown songs. Come on, y'all. These people come on, man. Come on, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, they would literally take their songs and remake the white version of it. They didn't have enough mental capacity to write the song themselves. They let Chuck Berry write it, play it, and then they come in and copy it. Y'all that's old enough, y'all know what time it is, man. Put some respect on your ancestors' name. Chuck Berry was an American. James Brown is an American. Little Richard was an American.
Yeah, and they will see it.
The fuck?
I know Little Richard will. Shit. So no, you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. And we're gonna continue to do this, not just for this month, but all year round. So we appreciate y'all, again, taking this journey with us. And as we continue to take this journey, you again start to realize, okay, yeah, this whole shit is flawed. You're getting the rules of the game and you're seeing that, yeah, they not abiding by the rules and we aren't part of these rules. So again, we have to get over that fear and actually just do for self. Definitely great questions for sure in the chat though today. I think we definitely, I think they hit a light bulb though, in regards to that money, actually seeing the difference, especially wording. I think they hit a light bulb with a lot of folks today. So
bring it back in. So starting next week, you'll do Article 1, Section 10, and you'll show that image so people can get the visual. We'll incorporate that back in. So, repetition is the key to learning. There is no money, y'all. So y'all gonna catch on to what I don't want to say they're gonna catch on to what we're saying because I think they already caught on.
Right.
We gotta really understand. Just stop participating in this shit because there is no money. So we Or if anybody's slaves, it's really us, because you're working and you're not getting paid anything. So yeah, they can give you credit cards and credit scores and Bitcoin. Yeah, we can just go further into make-believe because you're not getting paid anything that's backed by gold and silver per their constitution. But damn, who would you have to be to have that shit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who would you have to be to have that shit and prepare for when it go down? You got to have silver coins and 7.62s.
Facts. Facts.
I'm done.
A little too real at the end. But nah, we appreciate y'all, man. We gonna get up out of here. Nah, it was a good one.